Yo, 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 yo. What's good with it, man? It's the homie Mac. Music, art, culture, knowledge. Each one teach one. Each one teach 1,000. Um, it's the homie Mac reporting live from the Dogon. Appreciate the subscribers, the love. This channel is growing. Word of mouth is definitely working on my behalf. I appreciate everybody that sees value in what I do over here. Reporting live from the Dogon again. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Today, or tonight rather, we will be having a session of Mackin' with Mac. I didn't do it right. Hold on, I gotta do that at the same time. Pop it at the same time. Mackin' with Mac. Mackin' with Mac, as you know, or to those new to the channel, Mackin' and Mac is the book review series. I think I've reviewed over 30 books, I want to say. Have I done that many? Well, maybe around 20 plus. Today I will be reviewing the original Confessions of Nat Turner, allegedly taken by Thomas R.Gray. Now there is added commentary by H. Khalifa and Nadira U. Khalifa. I think pretty much this is a critique of the original work. And by critique, meaning all the original context, as far as the dialogue between Thomas R.Gray as well as Nat Turner, all that is written, it's there. But as you read it, there's a little bit of commentary from both Khalifas, both the aforesaid names I mentioned. They kind of add their perspective. And I thought it brought a healthy balance to the narrative. Because I have not read the original Confessions of Nat Turner, allegedly taken by Thomas R.Gray, the original one, without the commentary. But I heard from the Khalifas, but I have heard that there's certain things in there that may have been misinterpreted or left out. So I think the whole intention of this is to bring forth justice, because like good brother Huey P. Newton said, I don't expect white media to portray healthy images of black men. So I think they thought there was some bias in the narrative, the original. So Nat Turner, born October 2nd, 1800, in Southampton County, which is in Virginia. Just to give historical context, in August of, let me make sure I'm right, August of 1831, Nat Turner led an uprising, a rebellion, a revolution, if you will. I think there were well over 60, in a two-day span, they killed over 60 white people. Notably, they did kill children, they did kill infants. And I know some people say, that's so harsh, how could you kill the baby? But when you're thinking revolutionary, when you're thinking war tactics, there is not a lot of room for morality. Revolution is upheaval by any means, because the way they're looking at it is these little babies are going to grow up and pretty much oppress my babies. Harsh reality. Nobody likes the thought of children being murdered. August 21st, Nat Turner was he had over 70 slaves with him in the rebellion. They had knives, they had bludgeoning objects, and what's really notable is there were actually 10 black men who were actually freedmen. They bought their freedom, and they still were willing to participate in the rebellion. I think that says a lot, because I think now a lot of black people, our mentality is like, I got it. Hope y'all other Negroes figure it out, but I'm good. I'm Gucci over here. Salute to those ancestors. The thing that's really interesting about this is I've heard people say Nat Turner never actually existed, that he was a fictional character. There's a lot of revisionist history. A lot of people have tried to question his sexuality, have tried to say that he was actually an effeminate man. Different things. I know we're living in a more LGBTQ plus friendly era, but this was stated prior to now, and to effeminize a man or to make him out to be homosexual was actually considered like a slight against him. So I just want to give context. But yeah, pretty much the whole narrative is he's confessing. The original Confessions of Nat Turner. He pretty much starts off talking about his childhood. He was born a slave. His father actually gained his own freedom. And I do believe at one point his mother actually tried to kill him because she would rather him die than to live as a slave. But she was unsuccessful in her attempt to kill Nat. Nat grew up as he got older. He became physically strong. He learned how to read from his masters. I think the man that ultimately took him under his wing, that bought him. What am I thinking? He was a slave master. That bought Nat Turner was Joseph Travis. Yeah, a small plantation owner in Southampton County, Virginia. So they called him prophet. Him being Nat Turner, he was very theologically inclined. He read the Bible. He used to preach to people, preach to black people, even preach to white people. Now, I have heard some people say, I can't corroborate this. I've yet to have anybody corroborate this. But I heard that Nat Turner actually had practiced Ifa and was a Shango priest. Not sure if that's true. But Nat Turner said he used to have visions. He actually ran away from the plantation when he was 22. And he said the Holy Spirit told him to come back. Go back to your earthly master. You have more work to do. So he went back. What else do I have to add? Pretty much, he felt a spiritual inkling to revolt. And he said he had visions of black spirits fighting white spirits, and it was just very ominous. Very ominous, if you will. And he felt like God was telling him, and when I say God, I'm speaking like the God of the Bible, specifically the Abrahamic faith. He said something that God had told him, Christ has took up his yoke for humanity, and you must take up your yoke for your people and fight for your freedom. And he took the sign as to this was initiated. The actual rebellion was initiated from an eclipse. Nat Turner saw an eclipse, and he took that as and very spiritual people, they've always made parallels between phenomenon in the natural realm as having a spiritual consequence or spiritual relevance. So he took that as the sign to initiate the rebellion. So August 21st, they went to Mr. Travis, Joseph Travis's home, murdered his wife, murdered Mr. Travis, murdered their children. They just went on a trail from there. The plan ultimately was to get to a town called Jerusalem, which is now called Cortland, Virginia. I guess there were some weapons or armory there. The point was to murder as many people as they could that were slave masters, and the children of slave masters, and to get to this armory and somehow I guess spawn an even larger attack. The plan was effective. They took out a lot of people in a short span, but ultimately I don't think they factored in the military prowess. Like the state militia got involved. I think they were well over 3,000 members. So yeah, when the state militia had caught up with Nat Turner and his band of freedom fighters, I will call them freedom fighters. They were freedom fighters. It was a massacre, but somehow throughout all that chaos, Nat Turner was able to avoid capture. He avoided capture for over 2 or 3 months. He would, for months at a time, he would hide in these little makeshift encampments that he made, not eating, not making a sound, only looking for food and water at night. That says a lot about his resilience and his resolve. Let me find some things in this book. In this book, he gives some insight about just his overall mindset. He said, to a mind like mine, restless, inquisitive, and observant of everything that was passing, it is easy to suppose that religion was a subject to which it would be directed. Although this subject principally occupied my thoughts, there was nothing that I saw or heard of to which my attention was not directed. The manner in which I learned to read and write not only had great influence on my mind, as I acquired it with the most perfect ease, so much so that I have no recollection of whatever. I have no recollection whatever of learning the alphabet. Let me see what else. There's some more things that just kind of gives you insight into his mindset. And this is a very powerful. This inspired me to get on my journey as far as my spiritual development, as well as developing my body even more. He said, having discovered to be great, I must appear so. I studiously avoided mixing in society. I wrapped myself in mystery, devoting my time to fasting and prayer. This man was trying to spiritually be on a whole nother level. And at one point, Thomas Gray asked him, what do you mean by the Spirit? And by the Spirit, he meant the Holy Spirit. He said, I speak of when I say Spirit, I speak of the Spirit that spoke to the prophets in former days, from biblical texts. He said he felt as though God ordained him, to be a man of God, to be a prophet. He had visions. He often had visions. I think it seems to be, Thomas R.Gray was a lawyer. I feel like I thought that there were the questions he asked him. I didn't feel like he was trying to lead him I don't feel like he was trying to lead Nat into giving him any type of specific response. I don't think his questioning was passive aggressive. I think it was a really organic dialogue, and I thought the questions were genuine. I don't feel like he tried to. Again, I don't think Mr. Gray, lawyer, tried to lead Nat in his discourse. He let Nat talk. I think that a lot of people should read this. This was actually published by Ubus Communication Systems in Druryville, Virginia. I'm after reading this, I'm interested to go upon the trail of the rebellion. I really would like to. I mean, now that I have historical context, I would like to physically see it. Some people call this Old Nats War. I think what was another one they called it? Old Nats War and Nats Fray. I think this is an extremely well-written book. It has strengthened my resolve to be. Just make sure I stand for something. And just being mindful of where I let my energy go and what really gets my attention. And it's made me want to be more self-disciplined, because it required self-discipline for Nat to develop himself spiritually, as well as in the art of war. But yeah, the original Confessions of Nat Turner, allegedly taken by Thomas R.Gray, 1831. Now don't let this be mistaken for what is it? I guess there was a Pulitzer Prize winning book written by William Styron. I might be mispronouncing his name. It was called The Confessions of Nat Turner. It was a novel. It was published in 1967. On November 11th, 1831, after Nat Turner was convicted, he was hung. Him, as well as other participants. Some of the other participants were actually sold further away. They weren't all executed. It's interesting. One of the things that they said when I looked up the whole Nat Turner rebellion, they said that Nat Turner had quelled the idea that ADOS or black slaves on U.S. soil, indigenous, Americans of African descent, that they were docile and weak. Like, he challenged that narrative. I thought that was pretty noteworthy. And there were other rebellions as well. And interestingly enough, his body was flayed. They decapitated him. By flayed, they basically skinned him. And from what I was told, his skull was actually still at Harvard University. It's like an artifact. And it's almost like I feel like they were amazed by his desire to fight and to want to rebel. I can see at times in his confessions how someone would say, "Oh, he was just a nut. Nat Turner was a nut. He's a religious theological fanatic." But I think the spiritual things can sometimes come across very dire or very extreme to things in the natural realm. I don't want to get, that's a whole nother conversation. But I don't think Nat Turner was mentally ill. I know they had something called drapetomania, where if a slave, the medical field at that time created the term. It's like drapetomania, drape something, and pretty much with drapetomania, you were somehow mentally ill because you wanted to become free. So a lot of times I feel like they assign mental illness to people who have a revolutionary spirit. But yeah, I think that this is a must read. It's the homie Mac. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Each one teach 9. Signing out from the Dogon. It's the homie Mac. I'm out.